Bitch, we're neighbors. I will teach you everything I do in this podcast business. Instead of learning anything or splitting, she constantly wanted to continue hiring people. And so as a friend, because that's what she's claiming we were. So as a friend, as I'm asking you to help and you are refusing to show up as a partner, how do I not take that personal? That I'm literally potting, crying. You're literally telling me that I'm burning myself out.
What's good, people? It's your boy The Kitchen. Now, this is just one of the many reasons why Mandy B always ends up in a tiff, in a disagreement with people that she, in the beginning, calls her good friends. But during the end of the partnership, her said friend begins to despise her. And these are just one of the many examples that we're going to get into. And we're going to start with the podcast that just ended a couple months ago. See the Thing Is was a show created by Joe Budden on his network, the JBN. You guys know Joe Budden, I cover him sometimes, just a little bit. Now, this started in 2021, and people were very critical of this podcast, as Joe, fresh off his Spotify deal, this is kind of a big thing, and he just announced the network as well. So this was just one of the first projects that he announced outside of his podcast. And I was also very much critical of this pod because this just came out of nowhere in my opinion. But as the show went on, the show was pretty good. I can't lie. They got into the groove of things. They weren't perfect, but that's with every pod. Every pod isn't going to be perfect the first time. But I did begin to like the lane that they were creating for themselves. Now, the first few episodes, it seemed like they had good chemistry. It seemed like they were getting into a good groove of things until Joe got on the episode and obviously caused this whole controversy with Olivia Dope and making her feel very uncomfortable. And she would actually come out and speak about her experience as well.
42 seconds. I make a comment about relationships in general within the conversation. Joe retorts that my shirt that I was wearing isn't buttoned like I'm single. Excuse me, I have to repeat that. My shirt that I'm wearing isn't buttoned like I'm single. I pause, cover my chest with my hand, and try to brush it off once again and continue the conversation. At 31 minutes, 42 seconds to about 35 minutes and change, Joe makes me feel like I'm in a hostile work environment by letting my co-host know that I am carrying the group because they don't dress sexy enough.
And then Olivia then goes on to leave the pod, but then a few years later, actually, we find out that Rory goes onto Spaces and said that Joe paid her off so that she doesn't take him to court. So that's a very messy situation and a very touchy situation. I don't want to invalidate or speak on somebody else's personal experience, but a lot of the fans actually came to Joe Budden's defense, considering that there was an actual video of what Olivia described when she chose to make that video. And it's disgusting. I can't lie to you. It's weird. Joe Budden fans are very, very weird. But nevertheless, Bridget actually did come to Olivia's defense and spoke to her behind the scenes. Now, Mandy, that's a whole different story. Mandy didn't say anything about it. And Olivia would actually come out in various tweets explaining her time on See the Thing Is and how Mandy treated her behind the scenes and how she was nothing like she is on camera. And I can't lie, that was the thing that kind of made me side-eye Mandy a bit. And not just me, a lot of other people started to look at her crazy. Because despite not liking a person, you can not like somebody. But if somebody goes through an experience in your presence and you don't at least come out and say, hey, I know we're not the best of friends. I know we don't really see eye to eye on certain things, but I'm sorry about your experience and how that may have affected you. It doesn't even have to be a big thing. It could be something as small as that, seeing that they are both black women in the podcasting space. But hey, that's just me. Their show obviously goes on. See, the thing is, then breaks from Joe's network, and a lot of people thought they would fail. A lot of people thought they would go under, but they actually do pretty well. They actually had creative control, so they could do really what they want. They could add new segments, which they did. They had a new scenery within the pod, so it actually looked really, really good on YouTube. It was a pretty good pod until a couple months ago, when they would both come out and announce that See the Thing is officially over. Which was kind of a surprise to me because they were doing really, really well. And it really, really sounded like they just got into their groove of things and that they finally found their niche in podcasting. Because I feel like that takes years to kind of master in a way. But they finally found it and they cancelled their podcast. And obviously this had a lot of people wondering, what happened? Did they fall out? Did they just decide it was over and that it was just kind of getting stagnant? People wanted to know the reason why it was over. But knowing women, they don't usually hold it down for very long. They have to just say something or throw shade, which is what they did. Now, during the weeks after, they would have subliminal back and forths on Twitter, alluding to why it was over. Some may say it was because Bridget kept talking about her happy relationship and kept displaying it in front of Mandy. Now, Mandy was in a relationship at the time, but it was obviously going very, very bad for her, as she would let it be known on the pod and refer to different situations when we clearly know she was talking about her current situation. Now, as the echoes started to get louder as to the real reason why, or the speculation of why the podcast ended, Mandy announces on Twitter that she will be going live to clear up the whole situation. And that's what she did.
She wanted to pay me $2,000 a month, not $2,500 a month. And she also verbatim said, this is how much she wasn't confident in herself. I'm not comfortable taking, this is verbatim. This is verbatim. I'm not comfortable taking a finder's fee for opportunities that come to us through my connections. It's not necessary. So let's maintain 50-50 split on any third-party offered revenue. Same applies to opportunities that benefit one of us individually. So here we go. There's no way to offboard admin work and management when you run a business. Do you hear me? Who am I letting into our account? Again, she negotiated with me and agreed. So here we go. Let's also talk about, if we want to talk about admin. When we left Joe, I fully funded the podcast to keep us afloat until we got our deal. By the time it came for us to get our deal, again, that studio, that's team, that was only one episode a week at the time, so the expenses were less. But we left Joe in November. We got our first payment in March. So for November, December, January, February, for 4 months, I fully funded the podcast to keep it afloat before we got a deal. That was $14,000 that was owed to me Because though we split this business 50-50, I fully managed and funded this show to keep it afloat. Everyone that got hired on See the Thing Is, let's also talk about that. I hired every single person. I did get my $14,000 back. I ended up using my accountant to come on. Again, I asked her, let's build a team. She had nobody, not even from her days with Love and Hip Hop or Rock Nation. So I hired our entire team, including legal, which could not even represent me in this separation. I brought on legal. I brought on our accountant. I also hired and managed the entire team. I want to add a little bit to that because there was another lie in this video where she said that everyone on our team worked at Full Court Studios. Let me tell you the lie there. I love May. Our lead audio producer has previously worked with me and she lives in LA. Our YouTube person lived in Austin, Texas. Our clip editor lives in Croatia. TJ only comes in and works for the pod, does not work out of my studio. And Jay only got brought on fully into the See the Thing Is team when we fired our person who worked in Austin, Texas. None. And Jay no longer works at the studio. Still love Jay dearly, but she continued to work for See the Thing Is, even after not working at the studio. So I have people in here that work with me. I would like to bring up where she said I tweeted about her during her bachelorette party. Because here's the thing, if y'all listen to See the Thing Is, I said I was tired. That's all I said. I also wished her the best on her future endeavors.
Now, she says she wishes her the best on her future endeavors, but Twitter would say otherwise as she continued to throw shade at Bridget when Bridget doesn't engage with her. Bridget doesn't talk to her. Bridget doesn't communicate with her from what I'm seeing. Maybe she is behind the scenes. I don't know anything. But the optics look crazy, as Bridget is a newly married woman. She's just moved to Atlanta, I'm hearing. So Bridget is fine. She also has a new pod, which she does with somebody else. So Bridget seems like she's living her life without Mandy, without a care in the world. But Mandy seems very bitter. And the fans have actually decided that she's the one to blame for the breakup. Because anytime I see her on my timeline, she's either responding to a fan that's criticizing her, or she's just cursing somebody out. And the person she does curse out is most likely a fan of the Joe Bun podcast, because she has been going at Melyssa Ford for quite a while. Now, some would argue this has been going on for years, but I'd say this has been going on for a good couple months right now, almost to a year, where anytime a topic is brought up on the JBP that relates to women or that is in support of women or criticizes women, Mandy is quick to go on Twitter and tweet how bad Melyssa Ford was on the pod and her lack of input that she gives. Now, I do kind of agree with Mandy. A couple months back, she was very, well, not just a couple months back, even now, she's not very vocal. She's very chill. She's stagnant on that podcast. She doesn't really use her voice the way she should use her voice, especially as a female podcaster surrounded by men. And Mandy has made that known for a good while. And I was with her in the beginning, but now it just seems like it's a lot. It's extra. She's going way harder than she should be, which is weird. I feel like she has something against Melyssa Ford. It's almost like it's personal. And it turns out I was right. Now, a few months later, everybody forgets the Mandy B Melyssa Ford hate. Melyssa then attends a Lucky Day show in New York. Now, if you guys don't know Lucky Day, he's an R&B artist. He's that guy right now. Love his music. But Melyssa ends up going on stage, and Lucky Day ends up singing to her, serenading her, showing her love, while Melyssa does a few things. She throws it back at him. She bends over. It was a wild night. And then Twitter went crazy. And then a few days later, guess who's tweeting subs again? You guessed it, Mandy B. Now she tweets at Melyssa Ford out of nowhere. This appears to be very random. And then I start to do the science. Then I think back to a video I uploaded about Mandy B meeting Lucky Day. And it all started to make sense.
I thought that nigga was like 25. I was like, ooh, let me put a little youngin' up on game. You know what I mean? I was like, let me shoot my shot. Let me turn this little nigga out. He do the little R&B shit or whatever. So we was both about to be in LA for, I think, BET Awards or some shit where he was going back to LA the next day. I was finna be in LA. So I was like, ooh, let me get this little young tenderoni. I think I was maybe only like 29. I was like 29. I just was sure he was like 24, 25. So I went up to him. I was like, baby, I'm gonna be, where you would live at? What you doing? I'm excited to see you. I love your music. We exchanged numbers and I said, yo, when we get to LA, I'm gonna take you out. This is me being a little trick. Cause I thought he was a young nigga. Bitch, tell me why that nigga was older than me. Tell me why he was like 31, 32. I was like, oh, he's in his 30s? Then I was mad as fuck at myself for even offering to take that nigga out. I was like, bitch, I ain't finna trick on no nigga that's older than me. I only thought I was finna trick because I thought I was about to put a little young nigga up on game and about to turn that nigga out. I was like, oh, he older. And then we got to LA and never met up. And then I ran into that nigga at the airport. And then we sat and just had drinks because we was on the same flight again, going somewhere. Where were we going? I feel like, I don't remember where we was going, but I saw him again. And I be liking to like let niggas know, damn nigga, you ain't even let me take you out, but what's the...
Now, I could be completely wrong in my evaluation. Does this sound like jealousy? Does this sound like the old tale of it should have been me? Why does it have to be her? She's in her 50s. I'm young. I look good. Why would you pick her over me? It sounds like jealousy. I'ma wake it up. It sounds like Mandy is mad. It sounds like she's salty. I haven't even gone to the demise of Horrible Decisions because they've cancelled their show. They announced earlier this week. I haven't even got into her friendship with Weezy. She's not cool with Weezy at the... Well, she's never been cool with Weezy. Let's wake that up. Even Rory and Moore said this.
Outside of just their relationship as friends, they've had therapists on the podcast trying to get them back to being friends. They've also been very open about having other ventures and Horrible kind of not being a priority to what else they're doing, that they're, coming in and knocking this shit out in 1 week for a season and then going about their business to do other stuff. So this wasn't really like a shock to me with this announcement. I've actually been expecting this announcement like 5 years ago. But
yeah. All right, cool. So now
I'm so happy it didn't happen.
I was about to say, listen, man.
No, I love both of them, so I'm happy it didn't happen. Listen, it's too good of a brand.
That's the homies. Love them. But I'm just saying, like, bittersweet news for who? Like, I think anybody that knows y'all know that shit was like, I don't even.
I
when I used to see new episodes, I'll be like, word. It was a surprise. Like, word, they still recording because when I'm around them, it's like, yo, I don't even know if y'all speak to each other.
Yeah.
So it's like to see
when we did their show in Atlanta and they were in the same green room, I was like, oh, this is refreshing.
Yeah. How long ago was that? 2 years ago?
A minute ago, yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
They have their ups and downs, which they talk about. It's not anything that we're spilling.
But I think recently they've been in a good place. I think this is mainly coming because Mandy is moving to Atlanta.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, it's harder to come to New York.
Weezy has been back and forth between LA and New York.
She's been in LA way more.
Yeah, like that don't mean
shit. I fucking miss my friend. She's in LA all the time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she's in LA more now. Mandy is no longer in like New York, just waiting for her. She's gonna be in Georgia. Like, I don't think that it's ending because of them. I do think it's ending because of other ventures.
It's ending because of them. They decided they don't want to.
They don't lock in for a week and shoot like a half a year of content.
Yeah, they
wanted to.
But
it just doesn't look the best right now, in my opinion. What do you guys think, though? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Do you feel like Mandy should look within herself, self-reflect, wonder why all her friendships and business ventures aren't really doing the best? Why are her friends walking in and out of her life, or so-called friends? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Till next time, it's your boy Kitchen. Deuces.
Like, and this shit sucks. I made that bitch so much fucking money, and that bitch has the nerve to take me to fucking small claims. I was never friends with Blue. Y'all be getting shit fucked up out here, bro. Y'all be getting shit so fucked up. Y'all be getting shit fucked up. All I know is I'm separating the idea, and I should have done it the whole time. We used to talk on the podcast about separating friendship and business and how everybody wasn't your friend. Hey, if y'all are friends with somebody who refers to you as the rich friend, that person ain't your friend. If you are referred to by any of your friends as the rich friend, that ain't your friend. She was counting my pockets all along and probably was just hoping that I would be in default. The rich friend, I'm the plug, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah. Don't let nobody count your pockets. Everything, y'all. I ain't even get as much as a thank you. I ain't get as much as a thank you.